Hello guys! Well, sorry again, like last time I have to apologize first that there hasn't been any videos for quite a long time, especially because I saw that there's many people who followed me now because of my recent video about Future Tone, and thanks for that. So I almost felt bad for not making any videos, but you know how it is, I didn't really feel like making videos. I only make it for fun, so of course I can only make them when I feel like it. But now I present you with my new video. But first, probably I have to think of some kind of excuse why I didn't make any videos, right? Titellied für Max Karamina 2016, was ja bald aufkommt. So there you go. You could see I was just no helping it. I couldn't make any videos because of that. So Kevinson. Oh, I'm just getting word from my director saying that I made the exact same excuse and pretty much joke last time around, so I forgot about that, sorry. Moving on. Okay, sorry. This time I won't be joking around any longer. I will just get to the main point of this video. This is a review of Hatsune Miku Project Diva Future Tone, the port of the arcade machine for the PlayStation 4. So yeah, what is this game? Well, this is a written game. You play with the beat, basically, with Vocaloid music, of course, because the star of this game is, of course, Hatsune Miku, the very, very popular Vocaloid, and she's also joined by her friends, by the company Crypton Future Media, Kagamine Rin, Len, Megodine Luca, Kaito, and Meiko. And this game is a port of the arcade machine. This is why it contains all the songs up to this point for the home console versions, except for the current game, Project Diva X, and also all the songs that were previously only available for the arcades. So this is a very, very big game with a lot of content, and yeah, for written game lovers or Miku lovers, this is a must. And now I will tell you the details why it is. So to kick it off, I start with some technical aspects. First of all, this game is in 1080p and 60 frames per second. And some people might say 60 frames per second, well, that's neat, but not that big of a deal, right? But I really have to say, for a written game, that's actually really important, because all the previous games for the home console versions, like the PlayStation 3 games, were all in 30 frames per second, and for a written game that really makes a big difference. You can really feel that. For the previous games, it was almost luck if you can get a fire or cool, so if it's the perfect timing or almost perfect timing. Now it's really purely up to your skill, and it's just great. It looks great, and yeah, you have all the frames per second, you can say. And also all the loading time are super short, so they really made some fine tuning there. Every menu is up very quickly, all the songs load pretty quickly, and if you get used to it, you can really navigate the game very easily. You can just quickly go to the costumes, change costumes. Everything is quick and intuitive. And the only bad thing about technical stuff is that there are some bugs. There was a huge bug where some Project Diva F original songs were off timing, but they fixed it now. And also sometimes the game can desync and even crash. It happened for me, but it's really minor stuff. It doesn't happen all the time, so it's not that big of a deal, but still. And also, for the technical aspect, you can change all 6 Vocaloids. For example, for Decorator, there are 6 different Vocaloids, and you can change all the costumes. And previously, it wasn't even possible for the arcade machine because it wasn't powerful enough, but the PlayStation 4 manages to render all 6 Vocaloids like in the same time for different costumes, and yeah, it's just great visually, and for technical stuff this game is almost perfect. Content wise is really where this game shines. I mean, it has over 220 songs, and these songs are from pretty much all the previous Project Diva games, and also the songs that were previously exclusive for the arcade version. There are some completely new songs, and also songs that were originally from the Project Media series, which was for 3DS, so it has tons of stuff. And also there's 340 or over 340 costumes, and of course there's also accessories and stuff like that, and you can even change the hairstyle individually, but only if you have both packs, Colorful Tone and Future Tone. And also all of the songs have hard or extreme mode, and only some of them have easy, normal or even extra extreme mode. For Extra Extreme, I have to say, usually it's a bit harder, but it isn't even the main feature, because for the arcade there's the slide pad, and not all songs supported it. So pretty much for the Extra Extreme they just added the slide thing for these songs, but mostly there are also better charts. They fixed the charts, and most of the time they also made them harder, so that's of course always nice for players who want a challenge. Then there's also a PV mode where you can just like sit and watch the videos, which is great, because if you just play the game you don't even notice sometimes how great the videos are, so you can just sit down and change the costumes and watch the video with your favorite costume, which is great. And also you can take pictures very easily, and these pictures will actually show up in the loading screens, so I just love this feature. I just sat down for like 10 hours and just watched videos, took pictures, and now all the time the game loads, which is pretty short anyway, I can see all these great pictures. Then there's also some more extra modes, like a survival mode, where you play 5 songs back to back with 1 life bar, and it can really get tricky. They're sorted by difficulty. There's like a 8 stars course and 8.5 stars course, and so on. Then also there's leaderboards. For the first time you can compare the scores with other players, which is just great, especially now that it really gets competitive, because like I said, 60 FPS, it really comes down to purely skill. Yeah, it's just fun comparing scores with your friends. And also you can fully customize your buttons just as you please. And yeah, there's some help modes, like you can for example map several buttons at the same time to one button, which can get helpful maybe. They tried to make it as easy for everybody, like as intuitive for everybody. Some people just prefer another control mode, you can do that, no problem. Yeah, there's also even a practice mode for the first time, and you will really need that, because some of these songs can get so intense. So for the first time in the series you can just go to, for example, 2 minutes in the song and just pick up from there to practice some really hard parts, which is a great feature. There's also a security mode where you can't drop out of the song, you should just play to practice also. And if you don't have enough of this challenge, you also have challenge items. Yeah. And that's not all for the content. For the last feature, there's even a vocal change for only some songs, but songs that had it in the Media games, you can like play the song with the Miku vocals or Lin singing, and it's just a great touch. But yeah, be warned that this is only for very few songs. I think in fact it's only like 10 of them. Yeah, the gameplay. If you know Project Diva, it's pretty much, yeah, all of that what you know from the previous games, but there's some things missing actually. From the Project Diva games for home console, you know that there's like these arrow nodes where you have to press 2 buttons at the same time. For example, the left button and the square button, which is pretty much both left sides on the controller. But this is missing. Because it's just a port from the arcade, and the arcade only has 4 buttons, so this is missing. And also there's no star nodes. Some things that are exclusive for this. There's no star nodes, like I said, but there's what they call slide nodes, where you have to press left on the stick or right on the stick, or you can also do it with the R and L buttons and even with the slide pad on your controller. But I think it's best to do with the just sticks. And also, there's actually multiple buttons at the same time, and this is the bane of my existence. This is what makes this game so hard in comparison, because for example you have to press circle, triangle and square at the same time, and you really have to get used to that. It's so insanely difficult, and even especially for the really hard songs, they give you so many of them in succession, and oh my god, it's just so hard for your brain to process that. So this is what really makes the game so hard. Then there's also not the classical holding notes where you have to hold down for a certain amount of time and then you release, but instead there's just some notes where it says like hold, and then you just hold as long as you want to get a bonus. And what I suggest you to do in that case is actually map the R and L buttons also to the normal notes, because then what I do for the holding notes is use the trigger buttons instead, because this way you can indefinitely hold the buttons but still keep playing and get the bonus. And I think to get a high score, this is really what you need to do. Last but not least, speaking of the gameplay, everything is really like stricter, because for previous games, if you just managed to succeed in the chance time and in the technical zones, you were pretty much guaranteed to get an excellent rating. But in this, every mistake is really costly, and just a few small mistakes can ruin your run. So to get high scores and to get like great or excellent, you really have to play almost flawlessly, because just a few mistakes can really ruin your run. This game is very strict. So speaking of the controls, unfortunately these are not perfect. I said that you can really customize a lot of stuff, and this is true. You can get a lot of help things, like for example, you can, for the multiple notes at the same time, you can activate a little feature that will actually show you a picture of the controller, marking the buttons you have to press. So there are some like helping features, and also like I said, you can map like several buttons to just one. So they really try to do it like as easy and accessible as possible for this really hard game to help you, but still I feel that this is not perfect to be played on a controller. You can really feel that this is an arcade game and it's meant to be played with the 4 buttons on arcade, because some things are just unreasonable to play. For the really hard songs, some parts are just insane, and I think it's really not the best way to play on the controller, but this is definitely the biggest flaw in the game. And well, there's nothing you can do about it except for maybe play it with the arcade controller soon, but even that is not like the real arcade layout, so I don't know. So this is like a flaw in the game, the biggest flaw by far, and yeah, the controls are not perfect. It's really hard to master, to say the least. If you have a closer look in the menu, you see that there's a direct link to the PlayStation Store, and this is pretty obvious because, I mean, this is arcade port, and the arcade constantly gets new things like new songs and new extra extreme updates and also new costumes, and it's really to be expected that this game will also get these stuff. But of course they won't do that like as soon as the arcade gets the update, because otherwise the people in Japan especially won't bother playing the arcade and spending money for that, because you will get it anyway for the home console version. So it's to be expected there's some time gap in between, probably several months even, but I think it's pretty likely to expect that there will be DLC stuff for this game, and I hope they will continue doing that, so this game will always be the perfect arcade port. And the new stuff will hopefully always be updated for this game. This would be the perfect scenario, and I don't see why they wouldn't do that. But of course it will cost you. Well, to sum up the game, this game has so many positive aspects. First of all, the visuals are pretty much perfect, the loading times are so smooth. So from the technical aspect, also with 60 frames per second, it's pretty much perfect. Now of course, the content is amazing because it has an enormous set list with pretty much every song from previous games and more, and also with tons of costumes and stuff. And there's just so much challenge to be had here for veteran players like me. This is just so much fun, but also for beginners, it has tons of things to help you. So just for the challenge, this is a great game. And also it offers a few interesting extra modes that will keep you busy. Then it has even leaderboards, so you can compare scores with your friends. And last but not least, the price is actually pretty reasonable, because if you compare it to other games with like 30 songs, it's almost the same price. So this is a pretty darn reasonable price. I really don't want to mention anything bad when it comes to Miku, but of course this game has its flaws too. And to also sum these up, there are some small bugs. The biggest bug has been fixed, fortunately the timing issue, but still the game is not 100% stable. It can crash sometimes or even desync the audio. Then there's still some missing stuff. It's not up to date to the arcade. There's some things that has been updated to arcade that this game does not have yet, but it can come in the future of course. And then the biggest issue is that it's not 100% optimal to be played with the PlayStation 4 controller. You can really feel it's meant to be played for the arcades, so it can give you some issues. These are just a few small things that make the game not 100% perfect, but of course every game has its issues. Another thing that's really not an issue, but something you have to know, is that there's no extra stuff like a Diva room that was in previous games. You have to really know what to expect. It's just about a written game, and it's just a port of the arcade, and the arcade just doesn't have anything like that, of course. So if you want to have Diva room and stuff like that, you have to go play Perchiva F, F2, or X. So in conclusion, this is the perfect Miku game. I don't think there ever will be anything think like that because obviously it's a collection of all the old stuff, and so it's pretty much the perfect collection. And while it has its issues, I think that's normal for every game. The bugs can be fixed easily, the missing stuff can be added later, so only it's not perfect to play on controller, but even with the arcade controller coming out, maybe this will be better to play. So in conclusion, this is almost a perfect game. It is the perfect and ultimate Miku game, and for any Miku fan, Vocaled fan, or of course written game fan, this is a game you have to get no matter what. It's a definite like seal of approval from me, and yeah, it's just the best and so much fun for like tons of years, you can even say, probably. There's one short thing I missed. Actually, if you are interested in this game now, and I hope you are, then how you actually get this game. It's only available for the Japanese PlayStation Network, and it's actually only available digitally. So there's no physical version, unfortunately, and it's separated into 2 packs. There's the Prelude, which is free. It has pretty much the main game, but only 2 songs. It's only to test out the game if you like it. And then there's 2 packs. There's Colorful Tone and there's Future Tone. Future Tone contains pretty much all the songs from the previous home console versions, and Colorful Tone all the songs that were previously only for the arcade and from the Mirai games. Each is 3,900 yen, of course, thank you, the Miku number, but you should really get both, because only if you have both you can get the extra features like hair style customization and also the survival mode. But I really think, like I said, this price is so perfect and this game is so perfect, you really should buy it. Some people might think, of course, I'm a big Miku fan. For me, Miku is my life, so of course I'm biased. But I think even for people who don't really care about this, if you just like don't hate the music, but like written games, I really think everybody should get this game. Oh, somebody's watching. Oh, I forgot. I still have to give you the outro of the video, right? So thank you very much for watching, like always, and don't forget to give the videos a thumbs up, yeah, maybe also all the videos, and also comment on what you think about the video, if you agree about my review, and of course, just subscribe if you want to stay tuned to my videos about Miku. Next video probably will be my event report about Machikara Mirai, because very soon I'm in Japan again, going to Miku concerts, actually 4 of them. This is gonna be great, right? And Miku's gonna join me for it, of course. Thank you again, stay tuned, and bye!